Welcome to WO50 Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
I sure hope we do after how many years on the planet? A long time. Over 60 now. My name is Corrine, and I'm here with my BFF of many moons, Eddi. And today our topic is revealing and concealing, how we find or bury our treasures.
Yes.
What's that mean, Ed?
Well, finding our deeper truth. Are we showing up with vulnerability? Are we staying in the shadows, hiding from our real truth, not revealing who we are, or protecting ourselves?
Yeah.
What are we hiding from?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really.
And the real treasure is our true nature, which is unconditional love, which needs no protection, because then you feel at one with everything.
It's excellent. And we keep reminding ourselves, which is why we keep doing these podcasts, that we are that. And
right.
And sometimes we just need little reminders and little nudges, and for ourselves and for everyone that listens. Thank you. Hi.
Hello, Ed.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I just kind of came in from some blustery weather, some beautiful spring weather. And
you guys got the winds and tornadoes.
Oh, we've had so many tornado watches. Nobody in all of Nashville got sleep last Wednesday night. Like nobody. There was they now buzz your phone. They know where you live, and it's like an Amber Alert. You know how it goes off on your phone even if your phone's on silent.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the night at 3 a.m.
Oh no.
And then they start texting you until you reply that you've gotten the message.
Wow.
Which is great. It's pretty amazing that they know the address where your phone is, and that I could tell that the tornado was in Green Hills. So I didn't leave my bedroom. A lot of my friends slept in their basement the whole night, and people didn't sleep because there was like 5 tornado alerts all night long. So anyways,
we don't get tornadoes up here. We get like
you get squalls.
We get high winds, like Jason Momoa said. What you call like windy weather, we call hurricanes where I'm from.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an island, It's not tropical, but
everybody's got their thing. California's got their earthquakes.
Yep. Yep.
India's got some flooding.
Everybody's got something. There's heat, or there's cold, or there's dryness, or there's
Mother Earth, man, she takes care of herself.
Yeah.
She takes care of herself.
She knows what to do.
What are we talking about today?
Well, gosh, that's good. We'll segue into Mother Earth, right? She reveals or conceals. What are we revealing or concealing? Yeah, we're going to talk about our truth.
Our truth. What drew you to this topic? Because you came up with the topic a week ago, and sort of what you've been experiencing lately that drew you to talk, like how you've been feeling. What are you revealing and concealing in your life?
What I'm feeling is
revealing, concealing, and feeling.
We're going to reveal, conceal, and feel. Is in my office, there's a lot of people who are talking about growth and who am I? What is my purpose? Why do I let this bother me? Why do I want to change this about myself? Why can't I tell my family how I feel? Why am I hiding behind something? And I'm going, oh my God, this would be so great to talk about. Because as we get older, we tend to want to talk more about our past, childhood, our opinions, our, things that have kind of we didn't want to share, that we kept concealed, or we thought, let's protect people and not share stuff. And then as people start revealing it and start sharing it or talking with me, they went, I feel better. I feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can move from this in a different way. And now they need tools to work on that, right? Because it's almost like you're breaking down barriers and walls, and now you go, oh, I broke through. Now where do I go? You know?
It's an unfamiliar feeling when some of these things start dropping away and you start feeling differently. You can feel different in your own skin. Like, who am I really? And to me, when that starts to happen, we're getting closer to our true nature, which our true nature is really it's love, unconditional love.
Yeah.
Our true nature is ever present, unconditionally fulfilled, and our true nature is a oneness with everyone and everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
no separation, so you feel like you're connected in one, which I, you know, subscribe to that. And
Yeah.
and so when we, when we act or we feel separate,
Mm-hmm.
then there's the other, right? There's
Yep.
the other. You're
Mm-hmm.
separate than me. And then I don't like this about you. I'm mad at you about this. You're not
Mm-hmm.
acting the way or talking the way that I want. And so that's a part of it, right? And so then we
Mm-hmm.
feel we have to conceal something. Do
Yeah.
we feel we have to protect when we feel separate from others, which most people do? They don't feel the
Yeah.
oneness and the connection, or they might
Yeah.
philosophically know we're all one, but they don't feel the connection. Then might feel like we have something to protect or to conceal from others,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Or they don't feel ready to release it. They don't feel ready to share it. It could be a religious belief or some belief that they don't agree with, but they don't want to offend anybody, right?
Mm-hmm,
They're
mm-hmm,
holding back, and they're like, less said, easiest mended, but it still is bothering you. So it's you're still what you're concealing now. Is it stifling your growth?
mm-hmm,
And if you're able to share it and reveal it, does it help you move? Does it help you get closer to being more real, more authentic, more, you know, locked into your truth, more purpose even? Because people go, oh, I don't believe that anymore. And why did I
mm-hmm,
believe it? And we start, kind of I went through it. I mean, you know, with vulnerability, that's one of the things, privacy and being vulnerable, even doing this podcast, right? I'm going, oh my God, out there and oh my God, my hair's got to be right. And you're on the TV and people can see you on YouTube and you're talking. And what if they don't like your voice? Well, they'll turn it off. What if they don't like what you're saying? They'll turn it off. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of amazing stuff to share. But now that we've done this for a while now, like going on 2 years, and the feedback, it helps me. And I think lots of people, when they listen, they say it too. It helps them reveal more. So I'm sharing it, I'm revealing little bits more and more and more. You really never had much problem as you've gotten older talking about everything. Like
Actually,
you're
when I
really
was
good.
young, I didn't have much. I've really never felt a need to protect really anything. It's
Yeah.
not one of my things. I have many things that I've worked on over the years, but
Mhm.
that hasn't been one. But I have helped many people with that for sure.
Well, yeah, because also growing up, we all grow up a little bit differently, and I grew up in a small little town, and you were, here I am now revealing again. So we were taught, don't dress that way, don't do this, because someone's going to talk about you, or don't speak like that, or as a child, be seen and not heard. Like how many people have been told that, or
Oh yeah,
you know yeah, talk to them when they're speaking to you. You're told how to behave instead of just being your authentic self because
yeah. As a
kids
kid,
are,
yeah,
right? They're themselves.
so honest. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so honest. And I see that with my grandkids. So I have to show up really real with them too. So that's been, you know,
Hmm.
really good. But when you start kind of with the podcast, revealing more and more, sharing more and more, talking about things that happen in the community and growing up, and I'm thinking back to all the things that get said and done, and I'm thinking, wow, we all went through that and we believe that. You go to church on this day, you say your prayers, you kneel down, you blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you start going, mm, I don't agree with that. That doesn't feel right to me.
Hmm.
But we don't tell our parents then, do we? We conceal it.
Hmm.
And then we get older and we start going, I never did that. I actually stopped going to that, talking to the priest, blah, 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 about all my stuff. He has just as much going on. So why would I share my stuff? Oh my God, Eddie, what?
You
So,
remember that conversation?
oh my gosh, yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
sure lots of people do too, because as you
yeah.
kind of step into what you're feeling and what's real for you, and yeah, it starts to fall away, and then it becomes a little story in the background. And then you don't mind sharing it anymore
Yeah.
because now it's true, it's real, and it's not a part of you,
Yeah.
right? And the shifts start to happen, or the shit,
Yeah, right. Or both.
or
Yeah.
both, depending on who you're talking to
Yeah.
about what you're letting go.
Yeah. I remember the conversation when, like, because I really wanted to go to church all the time when I was a kid because we only went we'd only go like on New Year's or Christmas Eve, I guess it was Christmas Eve, and they didn't speak English. It was a Latin church, and so I remember I wanted to do communion because everybody else was. I was just curious, right? I was
Yeah,
think I was like 8 years old or something,
yeah,
and Mom said, "Well, you can't go up and get the bread until you." Have your first confession. And I'm like, what does that mean?
yeah.
And Mom wasn't a Catholic. She studied like all religions. And the more questions I asked, the more religions she would study. But my dad was and his family. And so, what does that mean? She goes, well, that means you go talk to the priest and you tell him what you've done wrong. And I'm like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
I talk to God in my head all the time. Why? And so that was like, it was all over for me then,
Yeah,
really in that moment. And Mom
yeah,
she didn't care at all. She was like, you know,
yeah.
and so it's different for all of us. Like, uh, and it's even different, like, because it's interesting how we're raised in the same families. Like you have a large family and you all were
Hmm.
raised in the same household, same small
Hmm.
town, but
Hmm.
you all have different quirks in different ways, right? Like
Yeah,
you all, and, and, same with my brother and sister. We couldn't be more different, the three of us,
yeah. With the same parents,
with the
you
same
know?
parents and the
Yeah,
same experience
yeah,
growing up, but
yeah,
we hear things differently. We take
yeah.
things differently.
We're
And so,
guided differently. My interests were a lot different than my
yeah,
siblings when I was growing up. I was interested in just nature and being outside and just I don't know, I just kept searching. I was always seeking something. There was more, more, more. I never questioned why I was on the planet. I just was just enjoying every I was immersed in it. I
yeah,
didn't know it was, I thought it was one back then. I didn't know it was going to all be divvied up as I was getting older. Oh, you're separate from this and you're separate from this. You know, and you start, I don't share, I never shared any of those thoughts with my family because they didn't get it. I'm like,
yeah.
but how can you not get it? So then that's what starts to happen is we start um, going inward or finding people that are like minded. And we end up kind of not sharing. This is coming in now. This is kind of cool. We're not sharing our really beautiful, authentic selves with our siblings. We're protecting, we're concealing, we're kind of moving into our own experience. And imagine if we decided to just, oh, I won't hurt their feelings, or maybe I will hurt their feelings. I'm just going to say it like it is, right? And we do that. Imagine if we did that, our relationships would be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't. We seek the like minds, whether it was, I wanted to, hang out with yogis and do yoga and, study nursing. And then they became my buddies and then we separate, we start moving away from our siblings. Some stay in touch, really tight touch, but a lot, we kind of scratch the surface a little bit. We don't get the depth because we're not showing up from the get go a lot of
Yeah, because
times.
there's some wounds. There can be some wounds from childhood.
Hmm.
I feel like your one thing is like your family. It's like you get stuck in time. You know how you're like your favorite hairdo or your favorite clothing it seems to like stay with you forever. Like I've had a similar haircut since I found Bev in my 20s, right? The late 20s or 30s maybe. And
Me too.
yeah, and so I feel like our family sees us like my family. My brother, I know for sure, my dad before he passed, they still see me as the 16-year-old kid that was not good with money and was kind of flighty and liked to try things and would quit things and like they kind of still that's the essence of and it's so
Yeah.
not it's so was how I was as a teenager, but
Yeah.
I've had so many experiences since then, so I feel like we have these roles we play in our family, and then
Hmm.
and then when we aren't around them, you go off to college or whatever, and you've grown so much, and then all of a sudden the conditioning shows up when you go back with them, and then the shit hits the fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then, a woman said to me this week, she said, "I feel like I'm the odd one in my family." She
yeah,
goes, "But I'm thinking here now." She said, "I'm 70 years old, and is that how every family member thinks? Does everyone think they're the odd one in the family?" I'm like, "Well,
interesting.
I did. I did. Hmm."
Yeah,
And she had that moment, right, when she thought that, and I'm like, "Ask them because they'll probably say, "Yeah, I was the odd one."
yeah,
Or it's nice because you're going in and you're asking and you know, you could have spent your whole life thinking you're the black sheep, you're the odd one out, and then you ask and they're like, "No, my God, we always love to see you come in." And we have these stories we spin in our head and
mm-hmm,
yeah, until we don't, until we show up and we people know who's coming in, you
mm-hmm.
know?
Or they don't. Like it doesn't really matter because then when we sort of get in touch with who we really are and we're comfortable in our own skin, then people will have their opinions all over the place and it won't matter
Yeah.
because it's like we know who we are. And
Yeah.
just because we know who we are doesn't mean the other people are going to see who we are,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know? And I love the
Yes.
point that you had brought up before we started recording was that we conceal because we feel we need to protect,
Mhm.
that there's something to protect.
Mhm.
And so it feels vulnerable to reveal.
Yes.
Not and vulnerability has a lot of definitions. Like that's one thing when I studied with Tony Robbins, life coaching with Tony Robbins, it was a people have definitions for different words too. That's why words sometimes can be hard. And so a lot of people in our culture think that it's weak to be vulnerable
Yes.
until Brene Brown came along. But if you haven't heard of
Yep.
Brene Brown, I mean, I've still talked
Oh,
to
yeah.
young business women, especially, and they think they have to have an edge, and they think that if they're vulnerable, they'll lose their
Mhm.
edge.
Yep. That's true. And there's society expectations, right? People
Yep.
conceal stuff because society expects them to be a certain way. There's shame, there's guilt, there's fear of judgment, but as soon as you become vulnerable, there's growth, I think.
Yeah,
It's
vulnerable because
exponential.
yeah, it's what's underlying most things actually. Like even anger, especially anger, really underneath anger is I don't know. I want to say across the board, it's vulnerability.
Yeah. I don't
You
know.
know,
I think it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable. That's what I always
it
say
takes the most courage
to
to be
myself.
vulnerable. Yeah,
Yeah. And Brené talks about that too. I love that. I love her
yeah, it's
writings and her
amazing.
language around it all.
Hmm.
Yeah. The differences and just, yeah. And we all have different ways of saying it.
Hmm.
Vulnerability we could do a whole podcast just on vulnerability.
Hmm.
But this is what pretty much revealing yourself is being vulnerable,
Yeah,
saying,
opening yourself up to opinions of others. To
yeah,
yeah,
say what you mean what you say.
mhm. And the thing is that we're open to people's opinions all the time, anyway, whether we're vulnerable or not.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't like their opinion, or
Yeah.
maybe we love the opinion, right? Like there's
Either
so much
way, it
going
doesn't
on.
matter.
Doesn't
Whether
matter. It's just an opinion.
it's just an opinion. Opinions are
And
like
where
assholes. Everybody has one.
that's right. That's right.
It's my favorite
Yep.
one. There's a lot of those,
Yep.
but that's my favorite one.
I like the
It
assume
shocks
one.
you. Which one? Oh
Don't
yeah.
assume. Makes an ass out of
So do
you and
you
me.
and me.
There's a lot. I think you know when you question vulnerability and you start sitting in it and ask what little tiny step could I make that allows me to be vulnerable in any situation. It could be going home for Easter holidays or um, shopping or like we're doing, talking about stuff or
Yeah.
sharing things or something you want to get off your chest, you want to talk to a family member about or a friend that you think you're going to offend them. Oh gosh,
Hmm.
okay. I won't be able to tell her. It'll pass. She'll get over it. but it still hangs, right? So vulnerability, lay it out, lay because friendships, when the love is there, it's true nature, you'll find your way through it. And sometimes we do it in different ways. We get defensive or, you know, backed into a corner, or we're really surprised. And it's like, I get you. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I accept your apology. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we've built up a story ahead of time. But when we just go for it, we're vulnerable. We don't have
Yeah.
to be floating on a piece of wood in the middle of the ocean, to
Mm-hmm.
test our vulnerability
Mm-hmm.
with sharks swimming around the board, right? It's like, eh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. What about with you? What's anything lately with revealing, concealing all the beautiful things, all the workshops, the people that you've been working with, Alea, what her whole languages around this is beautiful as well, right?
Yeah, well, I started off talking about it. That was a Leia language where your true nature, unconditional love and oneness and not in separation, right?
Yeah.
You're in oneness. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need any protection. It doesn't
Yeah.
need any concealing. So there's no revealing. And yet that's the whole thing in life is that
Yep.
we come into this life, this pure little bundle of baby joy that is pure joy. Just look into a baby's eyes and you just get a
Oh yeah.
joy on the inside and the baby's giggling. They're just pure. And
Yeah.
then they get these things added, this conditioning. Like we even have to be taught that you're a separate self. Like you
Yeah.
learn me, my, I, mine is the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most I, mine is the most common words across all me. So all languages, common word me.
Yeah. Mimi. Now they have me memes.
And
Yeah.
so babies learn that they're separate, and so then when there's a separate self, then there's, yeah, maybe something to protect. So when
Mm-hmm.
there's not and that's the whole thing is we really, you could look at it as our the hero's journey in life and the hero's journey is just our own journey in life. We're born these little pure little beings. We get things added to us. You're a good girl. You're a smart girl. You're a shy girl. You
Mm-hmm.
have ADHD, whatever labels that put on us.
Yeah.
And some of them, can cause limitations or whatever. So it gets our true nature of joy and unconditional love gets kind of covered up with all that conditioning. Our whole
Yeah.
podcast with Alea was all about that, right?
Oh yeah.
And
Totally.
so we our teenage years and our young years are all about this covering up of our true nature of all this narrative and ideas and stories,
Yep.
covering our true nature, concealing our true nature. And then I feel when we're on the spiritual journey, on the self aware journey, it's all about revealing, then
Mm-hmm.
uncovering. And it
Yeah.
can be really scary when you've been protecting for so long or feeling the need to protect for so long.
Yeah.
But then once you do move through it, you see that there was nothing that needed protecting all along.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's hard. Elaine and I talked about it today, actually. It's like, and then once you get that, then it's like you can't even imagine that it was ever there because it feels so natural. It
Yeah.
feels so natural to be open and
Yeah.
revealing.
Yeah.
But until you're
Yeah.
there, you're not there.
No. No.
So
It's until you're self-actualized, really, isn't it?
well, just becoming more self-aware. I don't think there's no goal. There's
No.
no goal. There's no enlightenment. There's no awakened. There's no self-actualized.
Well, yeah.
There's
That's
awakening
right.
is happening. Enlightening is happening. It's all continuing to unfold
Mm.
and open and expand.
Yeah. It's like presencing your presence. You're in your presence. You're not invisible. This beautiful movement into self. Yeah, I like that. I think for me over the past many years, yeah, vulnerability was definitely one I've worked on. Vulnerability and self-defensiveness, and it all stems back to, it's beautiful to be able to move through it and talk about it, but it's just all conditioning. It's all
Mhm.
just layers of construction, and it's
Yeah, a bunch of
It's like,
condos going on in there.
yes, little tree houses off the
Hmm.
top and over here. And, it's like appendages, right? And then we
Hmm.
start going, hey, 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 it's so simple. Like, we can't exist. We can't breathe without the air. We can't, we need oxygen. We need the sky. We need the clouds. We need the ground. We need everything from Mother Nature. We're just a bunch of cells. We need each other. It's beautiful. The connection there, like I always have truly felt there is no separation.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Well,
but
you haven't always, because you just said two different things. So you said you've always felt that there's no separation, and yet you
I've always
had
believed in
defensive.
connection. Oh
Yeah.
no, yeah, but I'm not meaning it that way. Like
Yeah.
having defensiveness and vulnerability. Yeah, it's more those were traits, that I kind of embodied, but I just never, I always felt connected to everything. So you can still be connected to everything and still have these feelings, these emotions, whether it's vulnerability or you're revealing and concealing, it's almost just like the constructs and that we put on around us. It's like the coats we put on, right? You're still the same underneath the coat. It's a different coat.
You're more
Yeah.
naked underneath.
Yeah. Yeah, you're stripped down. You're vulnerable.
Hmm.
So, but yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
So my question to people listening is what are you concealing? Just like Eddie and I have asked each other today.
Yeah.
What have you concealed in the past? Are you concealing anything now? Or and that
Mm.
would be like, are you afraid? So I try to avoid the question why, because
Yeah.
why is just it'll bring you into your head more because you'll come up with different answers depending on what mood you're in. So you want to
Hmm.
rephrase questions to, what is it in me? Where is it? How can I see it? Those kind of questions.
Yeah. It's like transparency. The more transparent we are, the more we are able to
It's my favorite
become more
word.
vulnerable. I know it is. That's why I threw it out there. And that allows more growth, that allows more movement, more whatever it is we need, right? To shift to feel lighter. It's like concealing worked for a period of time, revealing
Well, it's the
works
hero's journey.
totally.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the yum and yak. It's
Yeah.
the hero's
It has
journey.
its
It's
place.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing is you don't realize like appreciate that's what the hero's journey is all about. You start in one place, you
Hmm.
leave home, you go out into the world. Every Disney movie, every movie has the hero's journey in it. You go out into the world
Yep.
and you have challenges.
Hmm.
And then you sometimes even feel beaten and broken down. And then there's usually a mentor, somebody comes along, gives you a hand, helps to show you the way. And then you
Yep.
become your own warrior of your own life. You rise above the challenges. And then you come back home with the very same place you started with new eyes and see it for the very first time. That's really the whole the our and we have many, I feel many heroes journeys in our lives.
Yeah.
Not just with you, we have the big epic one of just our life in general, but then we
Hmm.
might have one in with a relationship with our children or our spouse or our job, or spiritual journey, you know, all those things.
Hmm.
And I feel like when we look at our life like a hero's journey, it helps to it takes the me out of it. You start to
Yeah.
see your life more metaphorically, and you can and takes the me because whenever you're thinking of what do I want, what is going to make me happy, if you there's too much me in there, that
Hmm.
is be a lot. This is a lot of trouble, as Leia would say. It's a lot of trouble.
Yeah. The me.
It's how
Me.
how can I be of service to the world, especially at our age? I listened to a beautiful podcast. Dr. Chatterjee, who I love, he's an MD he's from London, so he's got a beautiful English accent, but he's Indian descent.
Mm.
And I think I've sent you stuff before of
Yeah.
his ed, and he
Yep.
he interviews James Hollis, who's written a bunch of books. He's 85 now, James Hollis, and this interview is so beautiful. And he's like, as he says, as elders, he said, I'm 85 and I still do the same things I did when I was 60, 50. I'm get up, I write, I work with people. He's a psychologist. And he's like, as elders, as older generation, how can we be of service to the world? How can we be of service to life, to our life, to younger people's lives? And he said, and even if it's just you're in the garden, you don't have to go out and help people every day, but just you're put positive force in the world, then you're living your life to the fullest no matter what age you pass at. And he kind of has the same philosophy that Colleen and I do. He said wanting to live a long time is kind of egotistical. It's like, why do you want to live a long time? Like when you're it's like be healthy,
Yeah.
because some people want to hang on even when they're not healthy just because they're afraid whatever they're going or whatever. But to kind of think about that, like I just because I say I have no problem with death doesn't mean that I want to die tomorrow. It
Yeah.
just means that I'm okay if I die. A friend of mine said the
Mhm.
other day, he says, I'm going to live till I'm in my 90s. How about you? He said, I'm doing all these studies and on this, my mom has Alzheimer's and I'm not going to get that. And I've got some friends with memory issues, and he's the same age as we are. And he's like,
Mhm.
how about you, Corinne? Are you gonna into it for your 90s? And I don't fucking care. Like, whatever. As long as I'm
Yeah.
healthy and I'm service to life, I'm
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no guarantees.
No. No. It's always present moment living, especially the older we get, like moving into it. Yeah. I don't even think that people are doing tests of how long their
It's
lifespan
big
is and
thing right now,
who
longevity. Yeah,
knows. But longevity is beautiful, but you want quality of
it's
life.
quality.
You want to
Exactly.
have your brain working. And you hope, you hope really there's no injuries or major life, shifts that really, because things happen. But, you know, if we sit down and we can work on the quality of our life, our connections, our food, how we live, what we're clearing out, what we don't need to carry along with us anymore, right? Like what's in all the little boxes. I don't know. You'll see
Hmm.
it when I'm dead. No, I want you to see it now.
That's funny.
It is. It's so important. Even I don't know, just showing up with your friends, with your family, with you know, true nature. Just keep shining that light. Just work on your being. There's nothing really we can't hide. Where are we going to hide? Grin, tell me, is there a good place to hide? I don't know.
Yeah. It's life is revealing itself every day and every moment.
Yeah.
And when we resist what's happening in the moment, we may not like what's happening in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but when we resist it and we fight it and we try to change what it is, that's not allowing the revealing.
Yeah. We're kind of hindering it, aren't we?
Well, you're hindering moving through it with grace because life's going to arise in many different flavors in every
Absolutely.
moment.
Yeah.
And we have no control over what arises.
No, we
None.
sure don't. We don't.
And
So,
so, how will it reveal this beautiful mystery of life, of your evening now, or your day
mm,
if you're listening to this in the daytime? How is your day going to be revealing itself to you? And can
yeah.
you be open? Doesn't mean you'll be happy all the time. That's not what life is.
No?
It's just showing up and being. I like what came up on the last retreat is okayness.
Hmm.
Can you, can there be a sense of okayness with whatever's arising in this moment?
Yeah.
Just
That's a good
okayness.
one, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you're not okay, you're okay.
If it doesn't feel, even if, even if, yeah, I guess whether you're feeling like something's happening that you don't want, can you be okay with it? And
Hmm.
if you're not okay with it, can that be okay? Can you allow even the resistance to it or the concealing? It's happening anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to see you, Corinne?
I feel like we haven't, and we have not been posting as many. I apologize to people who used to listen every week, because we have been busy, and but we've got some really good episodes coming out, and we have plans to be recording quite a bit over the next few months, and hopefully get back on track with the release every Friday.
Yes.
That's the goal. Sometimes it's every other Friday.
Yeah. But it's been good. You know, we've been pretty consistent for a long time, so it's good. We'll get back on track.
Yes, no
sure.
rigidity in life. This is the way life is revealing itself, is
yes.
a little busy.
We just didn't have a lot to reveal.
Oh, that was funny. Okay, Ed, I love you.
Love you too. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Till next time.